Sup, Doug? What's going on, bro? Hey, so I was gonna show you a little more info. So this is the S&P 500. I've shown you this chart a bunch of times. Every one of these candlesticks represents one day, and the reason I keep showing you the S&P is because it looks like a good portion of your funds, their benchmark, is pretty close to the S&P. So where the S&P goes, most other things go also. So um, here's July of last year. So we were coming off of the COVID crash. Um, it kept bouncing, and you noticed that like every month or so, it would make a dip, right? Every month it'd make a dip. Well, here they are, and it kept respecting this trend line. Here we blew through it a couple times, but only for a day, and then uh, day 2, 3, 4, 5, in 6 days we were back above the trend line again. So that little fakey breaky that kicked a lot of people out, and I would have been exiting too. But when it came back out, came back up to this trend line, and then popped through and stayed through it, stayed above it for at least a day, I would start putting my position back in. Right here, I'm just starting to decrease my position. Not all of it, not all at once. 10% here, 10% in a couple days if it kept looking like it's getting weak. So, anyway, that's what was going on here. Is when it finally went through and it stayed below it, is when I started bugging you. Hey, just it's okay to take a little bit off the table because we don't know if it's going to come back and rejoin this trend line and keep going up. And right, so it didn't do that. And then I showed you that this support line turns into resistance. So look what happened. Once we came through and it went to go maybe do a fakey breaky like this one down here, it came back up. So here's 2 days down below that support line. The third day, fourth day, fifth day, sixth day, and then it came up here and it hit the bottom of it and broke down even more. And now we've created a new trend line, one that is sloping downwards. So I continue to decrease my position. If my positions are sort of S&P related, and I saw on your bar chart that Oakmart Fund. I mean, it's got strong buys. There's you've got, but you also have some stuff that if this is still your positions, the Russell, wherever the S&P goes, the Russell goes faster. Vanguard, obviously, it's got some problems. This Fidelity Growth, obviously, it's starting to turn negative. This one's still strong, really strong. And your Pentair is also turned negative. If these are your actual positions, let me know, and or rename this to Doug Positions, because I saw that you were looking at some other ones here, Doug 2 and Doug 3. But if these are your actual positions, keep this up to date with what the stuff that's your portfolio actually holds. So I'll go back to that. Oh. So now that it's gone up and bounced off of a certain point, and then went up to a certain area and bounced off of it again, and then the next day, and then the next day, then that allows me to go ahead and start putting a line here that represents a downward trend. All right. So I'm not a buyer. I don't start changing or adding back to my positions until we get above that line and stay above it for a day or more, a day or two. If it starts getting above that and we start rallying, well, then I start adding position back. It's one of those deals where it's pretty easy to just take a quick glance at the S&P to just sort of gauge everything and say, okay, what's going on? The S&P's starting to fall. Now it broke down. Now, a lot of people have no clue that we've created a downward trend because they're just seeing this as they're just looking at their account balance and they're going, well, it's a little down, it'll come back up. Well, that's not always so. Here it was so. Here it's a little down, it came back up. Here down, it came back up. Here down, it came back up. And it just keeps going up and everyone's happy. This right here is a telltale sign that we are down and we could be just continue to trend down. It might be a nice, even, a slow grind down that will just start taking profits. That's why I keep pointing out to you, it's okay to decrease your load on anything that is not necessarily showing. Buy all the way. Just buy all the way. Hang on to this thing. If you decide you want to move out of something, your weakest one, then put a little more in this one, or go to cash. But if it's strong, you can add on to this, but decrease this. Anyway, that's my 2 cents for you today. I'm going to upload and send you a text or a YouTube video. Ciao.